The phone fell out of Marcus's gym bag when I was looking for my earbuds. It clattered onto the kitchen tile, face up, and for a split second I thought it was his regular phone. But Marcus's phone was an iPhone with a cracked screen protector and a case covered in stickers from breweries we'd visited together. This one was a sleek Samsung, no case, pristine. I picked it up. The screen lit at my touch. No password, no face recognition. Just a home screen with the default wallpaper and a handful of apps. Messages, photos, maps, a dating app I didn't recognize. My hands went cold. Marcus was in the shower upstairs. I could hear the water running, hear him humming that off-key version of September he always did when he was in a good mood. We'd just gotten back from his parents' house, where his mom had shown me 3 different wedding venues she'd scouted, where his dad had pulled me aside and told me how happy I made his son. I should have put the phone down. I should have waited, asked him about it calmly. That's what the rational part of my brain whispered, but my thumb was already opening the Messages app. The first thread made my stomach drop. Can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Wear that blue dress I like. Sent 3 days ago, from Marcus, to someone named Vanessa. I scrolled up, weeks of messages. Months, maybe. Pet names I thought were reserved for me. Plans made on nights he'd told me he was working late. Photos I'd never seen. Him at restaurants I didn't recognize, at a beach we'd never visited together, standing in front of a house with terracotta roof tiles and a garden full of roses. The shower shut off upstairs. I opened the Photos app with shaking hands. There were maybe 40 pictures total. Most were of Marcus with a woman, Vanessa, I assumed. She was beautiful in a way that made my chest hurt. Tall, dark, curly hair, warm brown skin, a smile that looked genuine in every single photo. They looked happy. God, they looked so happy. There were pictures of them hiking, at concerts, sharing plates at dimly lit restaurants. One of them kissing in front of a sunset. Another of her laughing, caught mid-motion, while Marcus looked at her like she was the only person in the world. My fiancé, looking at someone else the way he was supposed to look at me. I heard him moving around upstairs, probably getting dressed. I had maybe 3 minutes. I went back to the messages, screenshotted everything I could, sent them to my own phone. My hands were steady now, moving on autopilot while my brain tried to process what I was seeing. Then I opened the Maps app. Recent locations, an address in Riverside about 40 minutes away. Searched several times a week for the past 6 months. I screenshotted that too. The bathroom door opened, footsteps on the stairs. I shoved the phone back into his gym bag, zipped it up, and stood there in the kitchen, gripping the counter, trying to make my face look normal, trying to remember how to breathe. Marcus came down the stairs in sweatpants and an old college t-shirt, his hair still damp, that easy smile on his face that I'd loved for 3 years. The smile that now made me want to scream. "Hey babe, did you find your earbuds?" he asked, heading straight for the fridge. I stared at him. This person I thought I knew. This person I'd been planning to marry in 4 months. "Yeah," I heard myself say. "Found them." He grabbed a beer, twisted off the cap. "Mom was in rare form today, huh? 3 venues. I thought she was going to pull out a PowerPoint presentation." I laughed. I actually laughed. Some autopilot version of myself was still functioning, still playing the role of loving fiancé while my world was disintegrating. "She's excited," I managed. "Well, I told her we're thinking outdoor, so hopefully that narrows it down." He took a swig of his beer, completely relaxed. "You okay? You look a little pale." "Just tired. Long day." He crossed the kitchen, wrapped his arms around me, kissed my forehead. I felt my body go rigid but forced myself to relax into it, to not pull away, to buy myself time to think. "Why don't you go lie down?" he said. "I'll order pizza for dinner." I nodded and went upstairs to our bedroom. Our bedroom with the photos of us on the walls, the engagement pictures on the dresser, the wedding planning binder on my nightstand. I closed the door, sat on the edge of the bed, and pulled out my phone. The screenshots were all there. Proof, evidence, the smoking gun. I opened my laptop and typed the Riverside address into Google Maps. Street view showed a small, charming craftsman-style house with that terracotta roof and rose garden I'd seen in the photos. I zoomed in on the mailbox. 2 names, M. Chen and V. Rivera. M. Chen, Marcus Chen, my fiancé. My fiancé had a whole other house, with someone else. I searched Vanessa Rivera on social media. Found her immediately. 32 years old, worked as a physical therapist, loved hiking, and her golden retriever named Biscuit. Her profile was private, but her profile picture showed her beaming at the camera, wearing what looked like an engagement ring. The room started spinning. I forced myself to think, to be strategic. I couldn't confront him yet. I needed more information. I needed to understand the full scope of whatever this was, because this wasn't just an affair. This was something bigger, more elaborate. This was a double life. I grabbed my keys and purse. "Babe," Marcus called up the stairs. "Pepperoni or supreme?" "Whatever you want," I called back, trying to keep my voice steady. "Actually, I'm going to run to CVS real quick. Need some Advil. Be back in 20. "Want me to come with?" "No, it's fine. Order the pizza." I was out the door before he could respond. The drive to Riverside took 35 minutes. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. I didn't have a plan. I just needed to see it, to make it real. The house looked exactly like it had in the photos. Warm light glowed in the windows. There was a silver Honda Civic in the driveway, Vanessa, according to her social media. And parked on the street, barely visible in the twilight, was a dark blue Mazda that looked exactly like the work car Marcus kept at his office. The one he claimed his company provided for client visits. I parked down the street and watched, felt like a stalker, felt insane, but I couldn't look away. 20 minutes passed, then the front door opened. Marcus stepped out, wearing the same clothes he'd been wearing at his parents' house earlier. The same clothes he'd supposedly just come from the gym in. He wasn't alone. Vanessa was with him, laughing at something he'd said, her hand on his arm. She was wearing a blue dress, the blue dress he'd asked her to wear. They kissed on the front porch, not a quick peck, a real kiss, the kind of kiss you give someone when you're coming home to them. He climbed into the Mazda and drove away. She waved from the doorway, then went back inside. I sat there for another 10 minutes, my brain trying to piece together the timeline. He'd been with me this afternoon at his parents' house. Now he was here, which meant he'd somehow slipped away, changed cars, and was living 2 completely separate lives just 40 minutes apart. How was this even possible? I drove home in a daze. Marcus was on the couch when I walked in, pizza box open on the coffee table, some action movie playing on TV. "You were gone a while," he said. "Pizza, still warm though." "Long line," I said automatically. I sat down next to him, took a slice I couldn't taste, and watched the movie I couldn't follow. My mind was racing through every late night, every work trip, every weekend he'd claimed he had to catch up at the office. All the times he'd been unreachable for hours. All the times his explanations had seemed just slightly off. How long had this been going on? How had I missed it? More importantly, what else did I know? That night after Marcus fell asleep, I went through everything. Every drawer, every pocket, every corner of his home office that I'd previously respected as his private space. I found a second wallet in his desk drawer, tucked inside a manila folder labeled Tax Documents 2019. Inside, a driver's license with his photo but a different address, the Riverside house. Credit cards I'd never seen. A library card from Riverside Public Library. A membership card to a gym I didn't recognize. In the back of his closet, hidden behind his winter coats, I found a garment bag. Inside, a tuxedo I'd never seen him wear. I checked the inner pocket and found a receipt from a formal wear rental place, dated 8 months ago, for a wedding. Marcus's wedding. To Vanessa. I had to put my hand over my mouth to keep from making a sound. Had to grip the closet door frame to stay upright. My fiancé was married to someone else. I was the other woman, except I didn't know I was the other woman, which meant Vanessa probably didn't know about me either. I went back to the bedroom, looked at Marcus sleeping peacefully in our bed, and felt something crack open inside my chest. Not sadness yet, just a vast, howling emptiness where my future used to be. I couldn't stay in that house another second. I grabbed my laptop, my phone charger, and a change of clothes. Left a note on the kitchen counter. Couldn't sleep. Went to Emily's. See you tomorrow. Then I drove to my best friend's apartment and collapsed on her couch at 2 in the morning. Emily, bless her, took one look at my face and put on coffee without asking questions. When I finally told her everything, showed her the screenshots, the photos, the timeline I'd pieced together, she just sat there, stunned. Jesus Christ, Ava, she whispered. I don't even have words. I need to know everything, I said. Every detail. I need to understand what I'm dealing with before I decide what to do. Emily nodded slowly. Okay, how do we do this? Over the next week, I became a detective in my own life. I hired a private investigator, a woman named Diane who'd been recommended by Emily's divorce lawyer friend. Diane was efficient and discreet. Within 3 days, she had a full report. Marcus Chen, age 34, worked as a marketing consultant for a firm in downtown LA. That part was true, but he'd been living a double life for nearly 2 years. He'd married Vanessa Rivera in a small ceremony 18 months ago. They'd bought the Riverside house together. According to Diane's surveillance, he spent Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights with me at our apartment in Sherman Oaks. Thursday, Friday, and weekends he spent with Vanessa in Riverside. His work trips were actually time spent juggling the 2 households. He had 2 separate friend groups, 2 separate social lives. He'd even had 2 bachelor parties, one thrown by his college friends who knew about me, one thrown by his hiking buddies who knew about Vanessa. The logistics were staggering. The deception was meticulous. Diane's report included financial records. Marcus had been supporting both households, carefully managing 2 sets of credit cards, 2 bank accounts. He'd even filed separate tax returns using the Riverside address. Everything was compartmentalized. Everything was designed to keep the 2 lives from ever intersecting. How is this man not exhausted? Emily asked, reading over the report. This is like a full-time job on top of his actual full-time job. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was what Diane discovered about Vanessa. She was 8 weeks pregnant. I read that line in the report 3 times before it sank in. Vanessa was going to have Marcus's baby. They were building a family together while he was simultaneously planning a wedding with me. I threw up. Right there in Emily's bathroom, I threw up until there was nothing left. What are you going to do? Emily asked when I finally emerged. I don't know, I admitted. But I need to talk to Vanessa first, before I confront him. She deserves to know what she's married to. Finding Vanessa's phone number was easy. It was in Marcus's secret phone, which I'd managed to access again by claiming I needed something from his gym bag. I called her from a burner phone I'd picked up at a convenience store. Hello, she had a nice voice, warm, the kind of voice that belonged to someone who smiled easily. Hi, Vanessa. You don't know me, but my name is Ava Morno, and I really need to talk to you about Marcus Chen. There was a long silence. Who is this? She asked, her voice colder now. I'm Marcus's fiancé, I said. Or at least I thought I was. We've been together for 3 years. We're supposed to get married in October. Another silence, longer this time. This isn't funny, she said finally. I don't know what kind of sick joke this is, but... It's not a joke. Vanessa, I know you're married to him. I know you live together in Riverside. I know you're pregnant. And I know he's been lying to both of us. I heard her breathing change, sharp, shallow breaths. I'm going to send you some photos, I continued. Pictures of me and Marcus, our apartment, our engagement pictures. And then, if you're willing, I think we should meet, because I have a feeling we both need answers. I sent the photos, waited. 30 seconds later, my burner phone rang. What the fuck is going on? Vanessa's voice was shaking. That's what I'm trying to figure out, I said. Can we meet? Tomorrow, somewhere neutral. We met at a coffee shop in Pasadena, halfway between our 2 homes. I recognized her immediately from the photos. She looked tired, her face drawn, one hand resting protectively on her still flat stomach. We sat across from each other, two strangers united by the same man, and compared notes. Vanessa had met Marcus 2.5 years ago at a hiking club. He told her he was a consultant who traveled a lot for work. They'd dated for 8 months before he proposed. They'd gotten married in a small ceremony attended by his work friends and her family. He was loving, attentive, supportive. He'd been thrilled when she told him about the pregnancy. His story to her was that he worked long hours and sometimes had to stay in LA for client meetings, which was why he was gone during the week. She never questioned it because he always came home. He called every night. He was present in their life together. To her, I didn't exist. His Monday through Wednesday life was a blank space filled with work. "I feel so stupid," she said, tears streaming down her face. "How did I not see this? How did neither of us see this?" "Because he's a sociopath," I said bluntly. "Normal people don't do this. Normal people can't sustain this level of deception." We sat there for 2 hours, piecing together the full picture of Marcus's double life. The overlaps, the close calls, the intricate web of lies he'd woven to keep both of us in the dark. "What do we do now?" Vanessa asked. I'd been thinking about this nonstop for days. We confront him, together. We don't let him spin separate stories or play us against each other. We present a united front and we demand answers. Vanessa nodded slowly. "When?" "Tonight. I'll tell him I need to talk to him about something important. Ask him to meet me somewhere. And you'll be there too." We chose a public park, well-lit and populated enough that Marcus couldn't make a scene. I texted him from my regular phone. "Can you meet me at Griffith Park? The observatory parking lot. 7 p.m. It's important." He responded immediately. "Is everything okay?" "We need to talk. Please just meet me there." "Of course, I love you." I stared at those 3 words, wondered if he'd ever meant them, wondered if he was capable of meaning them. Vanessa and I arrived separately. She parked her car on one side of the lot, I parked on the other. We stood together near the railing overlooking the city, Lowe's angels spread out before us in a carpet of lights. Marcus's Mazda pulled in at 6:58. He got out, spotted me, and started walking over with concern on his face. Then he saw Vanessa, saw us standing together. The expression that crossed his face was almost comical. Shock, panic, confusion, all flickering across his features in rapid succession before settling into something carefully neutral. "What's going on?" he asked, his voice measured. "You tell us," I said. "Because we've spent the afternoon comparing notes, Marcus, and we're very curious to hear your explanation." He looked between us, his mind clearly racing. I could see him calculating, trying to figure out what we knew, what he could still salvage. "Ava, I can explain." "Are you married to her?" I interrupted, pointing at Vanessa. "Yes or no?" His jaw clenched. "Yes." "Are you engaged to me? Yes or no?" "Yes." Vanessa made a choked sound. Hearing him admit it out loud was somehow worse than knowing it. "Is she pregnant with your child?" I continued. "Yes." "How long has this been going on?" He ran his hand through his hair, that familiar gesture I'd seen 1,000 times. 2.5 years. 2.5 years, I repeated. "You've been lying to both of us for 2.5 years. You married her while you were dating me. You proposed to me while you were married to her. You've been maintaining 2 separate households, 2 separate relationships, 2 separate lives." It's not what you think," he said, and I almost laughed. "Then what is it, Marcus? Please, enlighten us." He looked at Vanessa, then at me, then at the ground. "I love both of you." The audacity of it, the sheer fucking audacity. "You love both of us," Vanessa said flatly. "So your solution was to lie to both of us, to build an entire life based on deception." "I never meant to hurt either of you," he said, and he actually sounded sincere. That was the worst part. It happened. I met Vanessa and I fell in love with her, but I was already with you, Ava, and I loved you too. I didn't know how to choose, so I just didn't." You didn't choose, I repeated. You just decided to have both, like we're interchangeable parts in your life that you can swap in and out when convenient. No, that's not, you don't understand. With you, Ava, I get spontaneity, adventure, intellectual challenge. With Vanessa, I get stability, peace, a home. I need both of those things. I love both of those things. I'm pregnant with your child, Vanessa said, her voice breaking. I'm carrying your baby and you're planning a wedding with someone else. What was your plan, Marcus? How was this going to work when the baby came? He didn't have an answer. Or if he did, he didn't want to say it out loud. You're sick, I said quietly. You need help, professional help, because this isn't love. This is narcissism. This is sociopathy. This is treating people like objects that exist solely for your benefit. I never wanted to hurt anyone, he said again, and I saw tears in his eyes, real tears. I swear I never wanted this to happen. But it did happen, Vanessa said. Because you made it happen. Every single day for 2.5 years, you made the choice to keep lying, to keep deceiving us. We stood there in silence, the three of us, with the city lights twinkling below like everything was normal. Like this was just another evening in Lowe's Angels. I'm divorcing you, Vanessa said finally. I'm going to get a lawyer and I'm going to divorce you, and I'm going to make sure you pay child support for the next 18 years. And I'm leaving, I added. I already moved my stuff out while you were at work today. You'll find the apartment empty except for your things. I'll break the lease, pay my share until we find someone to take it over. And then I never want to see you again. Ava, please. Don't, I cut him off. Don't say my name, don't call me, don't text me, don't show up at my work or my friends' houses. If I see you, I will call the police. Are we clear? He nodded, looking defeated. Vanessa and I walked away together, leaving him standing there alone. We stopped at her car. Are you going to be okay? I asked. She shrugged, one hand on her stomach. I have to be, for this little one. You have my number. If you need anything, witnesses for the divorce, someone to vent to, whatever, I'm here. Thank you, she said. I know this is weird, but thank you for calling me, for making sure I knew. We deserve to know, I said simply. I watched her drive away, then got in my own car and sat there for a long time. 3 months later, I'm rebuilding. I moved in with Emily temporarily, then found my own small studio apartment in Silver Lake. Started therapy, blocked Marcus on everything, told his parents what happened. His mother actually called to apologize, which was more than I expected. His father apparently threatened to disown him, though I don't know if he followed through. Vanessa texts me occasionally. She's moving back to her hometown in Oregon to be closer to her family. The divorce is proceeding. The baby is healthy. She's going to be fine. I'm going to be fine too. Some days are harder than others. Some days I still can't believe it was all real, that someone could lie so completely, so effortlessly, for so long, that I shared my life with a stranger. But I'm learning to trust myself again, to trust my instincts, to recognize the red flags I missed the first time. And I'm learning that sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you is also the thing that sets you free. I never would have chosen this. Never would have wanted to find that second phone, to discover the truth, to have my world implode so completely. But now that I'm on the other side of it, I can see clearly. I was living a half-life with Marcus, a carefully curated version of a relationship that only existed on his terms. He was never fully mine because he was never fully anyone's. He was too busy maintaining the performance, keeping all the plates spinning. Now I'm free to find something real, something whole, something honest. And that phone that fell out of his gym bag, that random accident that shattered everything, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, even if it didn't feel that way at the time.